Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Subahibi. So, after the last part of, the last episode, I've been kind of thinking a lot about, because of this quarantine stuff still happening, even though it's been a while. Got too much time on your hands, you start thinking about stuff you normally try not to think about. I started thinking about my values and stuff like that, right? I kept thinking about what Takuji kept saying when he said that, we're all poisoned by the mass media. We're all poisoned about... our way of thinking in general is kind of poisoned, right? In some sort of way, like... when you're in a religious family, say, you start not being able to think outside of that, some of the taboos in that religious family, right? I wasn't from a very religious family, but I was from a Buddhist family. My dad does still, do some sort of ritual every night. Well, not ritual, more like just praying. But, yeah. I understand why he does it, and I also understand why we do some prayers every year for the deceased. I used to question this back when I was a kid, and it was never answered, actually. I actually had to find my own answer as I grew up. It's like, well, the answer for my dad was like, it's to let them come here and see that we're okay, etc., right? But that's just him trying to think it's like that. I know the exact answer is basically, it's us trying to make ourselves feel better by still remembering the dead. But yeah, sorry if I'm rambling. I know this is like a really wrong... This is probably gonna be a really long ramble. But I just sort of started thinking on it again, Like, these are the questions that I asked when I was still a kid, and I never got a legit answer from other people, so I had to find my own answers, right? So I also started to think about this game too at the end. I was angry, right, at chapter 4 when Zakuro was being bullied, right? But I do wonder, like, what was the cause of that anger? Was it because I like Zakuro? No, the answer was no, because as you can see, I definitely did not like Zakuro in that chapter, if you guys watched the episode. So, what exactly made me hate Zakuro, right? Or, sorry, what made me hate the bullies? The fact that they're bullying, the fact that they're abusing their power? I think that's what it is, right? I didn't want them to... See, that's it. That's probably it. It's not the act of bullying itself, but it's the abuse of power. That also ties to why I hate Tomosane at the start. Or my dislike of violence. Because violence is an abuse of power. And you know why I dislike violence? It's because I myself get reminded that I used to be a very violent person, at least from my thoughts anyway. Like, I don't really fight anyone, But my thoughts are very dark, and when I see violence, I actually do think about dark thoughts. So, man, I actually don't really know where I'm going with this, but it's just that I've been thinking about a lot of stuff, And I'm trying to understand myself, and also trying to understand the point of view from the game itself. Well, not really. More so understanding myself about why I acted the way I acted throughout this whole visual novel. Like, I understand myself. I understand what I like. I understand what I'm like. I understand why I get mad at stuff, right? I always give you guys reasons about what I think about this game. And I always felt myself, like, always in self-aware about anything. But I started questioning about it and just, you know, it's kind of like there's no stopping that way of thinking, that thought process. There's no actual answer. Is it a useless thing to think about? No, because the more you think about it, the more you get to know yourself better as a person. Enough about that though. I've been rambling for 6 whole minutes, Jesus. That's quite a long time for just rambling about useless stuff. But yeah, let's continue on chapter 6. It's just that this story makes me, you know, just think about what I used to think about when I was a kid. That day, it was evening before I woke up. After what happened yesterday, I couldn't sleep until early morning. Master closed his store down for the day, so I just slept until now.
電話、木村さんから。木村さんですか？
ああ、木村だよ。
どうですか？
いやさ、昨日の事故は一応自殺扱いになったみたいで、僕が殺人犯だと疑われるってことはないみたい。
Wait, what incident?
そうですか。よかった。
それがさ、殺人犯とは思われてないんだけど、一連の事件に関与している人物として僕を警察は捜査しているみたいなんだよ。
Alright, Senegawa died. Right.
そうなんですか。
なんでもね、昨晩ヤクの売人が若者に襲われたらしいんだわさ。
ヤクの売人って
非合法の薬ね。なんかその件で一部暴力団が動き出して、その関連で警察も動き出してて、いやー、社内の人間に聞いたら木村さん出頭した方がいいですよ。警察に捕まるならまだ生きてられますけど、暴力団に捕まったら殺されますよってさ。
大丈夫なんですか？
一応麻薬取材してたから全くつてがないわけじゃないんで、知り合いから誤解を解いてもらってる。その関係でいろいろな人に会ってて、今日はあまり情報を集められなかったんだよね。申し訳ない。
そんなことありませんよ。そんな、木村さん大変だったんじゃないですか？
大変だったね。まあまだ完全に疑いが晴れたわけじゃないんで過去形じゃないんだけどね。事件の真相を明らかにできれば疑いも晴れて、その筋の方々からは狙われなくはなるんだけど、現状は裏と表の両方から指名手配中状態。警察も一連の事故が他殺ではないにしても薬物汚染によるものだと断定して捜査を始めているみたい。
薬物汚染？
まあもともと僕が取材を始めたぐらいだから、この町での薬物汚染は有名だったんだよね。
兄さんは？
一応君の兄さんはマークされてないみたいだね。ちょうど僕が全ての注目を集めている形なんでさ。それも時間の問題だとは思うよ。警察は現在売人と頻繁に接触していた生徒数名の名前は突き止めているみたいだから。
兄さんは売人の方々と知り合いだったのですか？
いや、売人から直接名前は出ないと思う。僕の知る限り売人と接触している姿は見たことがないから。ただ、もし薬物に手を出していた生徒が捕まった場合、そこから名前が出てくる可能性は高いよね。君のお兄さんが彼らから麻薬をカツアゲしてたのは確かだからさ。
そうですか。
あと、北高で起きたこと。 例えば君のお兄さんが教師に怪我させたとか。
そんなことがあったんですか？
何でも授業中に花瓶で教師の頭を殴りつけたらしい。このことは現状では学校側は警察には伏せてるみたいだけど、それだって時間の問題だろう。そういった異常行動から薬物の関係性を疑われるかもしれない。
そうですか。
まあ幸か不幸か、現状では瀬名川教師が校舎の屋上から転落した際、校内をうろついていた不審者である僕の足取りを追っているから、それほど注目はされてないみたい。
すみません。なんだかご迷惑ばかりかけてしまって。
何言ってるんだよ。これは僕の仕事で好きで巻き込まれてるんだからさ。やっぱり事件の中心にいると臨場感は違うよね。
そんな悠長なこと言ってないで、気をつけてくださいね。これ
Oh, sorry about that.
え、心配してくれてる？
当たり前です。心配はします。
それってさ、僕の大人の身力に。
そういうのはありません。
あら、即答だ。そうだ、あともう一点。これって君に話すべきかどうかわからなかったんだけど。
どうしましたか？
君のお兄さん、家に帰ってる。それが君の言う友実くんであるかどうかわからないけど、とりあえず僕は別件で行かなきゃいけないところがあるから。
木村さん、切れた。
Nissan is in the house? That was probably the new Yuki-san. She was always the one I saw at the house. But if it was Tomo Nissan...
とも兄さんが帰っても私がここにいること知らないんだったな。
Okay, I also, since we're in Hasaki's point of view, I also want to address something, you know? I always have like contradicting thoughts sometimes, right? So I always say that people should always be honest, right? And that's a good thing. At least I think that's a good thing. But I also always think that when you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. That really contradicts what I said before, right? Which is always be honest about what you think. Whether it be like bad things, whether it be good things, whether it might not be good for the people that you talk to, for them to hear. So that's a really conflicting thought. And I never pay too much attention about it. But I think that's something that I've been ingrained to because I lived in a family or in a country where no one really speaks their mind, right? When you don't like something, you shut up, you clam up, you don't talk about it until a certain point where you can't take it and you just cut ties with the people that you don't like. And that's a bad point of view, in my opinion. But it's because it's been so ingrained in my family, in my country, it's hard to let go sometimes, so I keep falling back to that way of thinking. But I still agree a lot more with that. People should be able to say whatever they want. Whether they agree with you, whether they don't agree with you, it doesn't matter. You have the right to say whatever you want. So, back to talking about Hasaki, right? I was talking shit about how they were having sex, you know, Tomo-san and Hasaki. In a more free way of thinking, it doesn't matter whether they have sex or not. Yeah, I'm grossed out by the fact that they have sex, but like I said, it's okay. It's trying to prove a point. It's trying to prove a point that they love each other. Like, I don't agree with it, but, you know, it is what it is. So, just trying to rectify what I said when I said I really dislike about, you know, that they had sex and stuff. I was feeling a bit too strongly about it, but in retrospect, I shouldn't have cared about it that much. Alright, continuing on. I hadn't thought of a way of telling him that. I thought Kimura-san might be able to tell him, But Kimura-san wasn't watching the house at all times. If Tomo Nisan came home when no one was there,
とも兄さんに誰も伝えることができない。
I mean, Tomo-sane isn't stupid. Sure, if you're not home, the first thing he'd go is probably to the bar, right? I mean, when I was playing his chapter, when I didn't see Asaki, I definitely would have said, if we didn't meet Kimura, I would have definitely said, let's go to the bar. Master wouldn't abandon Asaki.
今うちにいるのが誰なのかはわからないけれど。
But I get that she's worrying right here, I suppose. But still, if that was Tomo Nisan, and even if it wasn't him, the other two wouldn't be able to recognize me at all. In the classroom, they just recognized me as the twins. But in the house, I would probably be removed from their consciousness in order to maintain consistency.
だったら
Maybe I should leave a note for Nisan in case he comes home, telling him that I'm at the Hakushukyo bar.
危険はないよね。
I knew I was just making convenient excuses for my actions. No matter what the reason though, I wanted to be sure. It'd been so long since I saw Tomo Nisan. I just wanted to see him again. If there was even a small chance of seeing him again, then I'd bet it all on that. I took the train from Suginomiya back to my house. It wasn't that far. It always felt like a quick ride before, but this time it was a very long train ride. I do have to say this though, like, as much as I understand, like, the character's point of view, if some things just don't click with me, I will definitely say it, you know? Just because I understand something doesn't mean I agree with what they're doing, or, you know, that kind of stuff. I will still be very critical about what I think about the characters and the story as a whole. But I am trying to have an open mind, a more open mind. That would lead me to understand characters that are usually, you know, a lot more complicated. As I watched this scenery drift by, I thought about a lot of different things. About today, about the past, about Tomo Nisan's relationship with Takuji Nisan, and about Yuki-san who protected me. And after that, the days I've lived with him since that day. No, not just with him. I lived those days with Tomo Nisan and Yuki-san, and Takuji Nisan as well. The incident that changed everything in my life, and the incident that completely changed my family. Everything from that moment in time leading up to me being here today. Tomo Nisan's kindness, Takuji Nisan's curse, and Yuki-san's probably sacrifice. I assume Yuki died protecting Tomo-sane or something, and Takuji killed Tomo-sane. Is what I assume. I was lost in thought, but then a sign flashed with my station's name on it. The train slowed as it approached the station. I arrived at my destination. There was a light on in the house. So he really did come home.
誰なんだろう。
There was a light on in the living room. Someone was in my brother's room on the second floor. I quietly went upstairs. He was doing something with his phone in the middle of the room. That wasn't his phone. None of them really spend that much time playing with their phone. I wonder who it is.
削除したのは昨日だから。重要なメールはすべて再受信できるはず。
That's Yuki.
確か高島メールの一覧があったはず。
He was doing something with the phone while watching the computer out of the corner of his eye. He must be investigating something.
うわ、すげえ出てきたよ。
I wonder whose phone that is.
これって幽霊かどうか別にしても瀬名川先生を誘導してるようにしか見えないな。
Mrs. Senagawa. She's the one who died yesterday. He must be investigating Mrs. Senagawa's death. which means
ゆきさんか。もしかして、とも兄さん。
which one is it? I couldn't tell because he wasn't saying much. If I come out now, Yuki-san won't recognize me, but Tomo-ni-san will. Then I should just go for it.
少し興味があるかな。
He caught someone with the phone in his hand. And then... there was a quite ringing sound in the room, which means that the phone he called was in the room. Ah, so that shadow that we saw before was Hasaki. But since we couldn't see Hasaki, we just see, you know, a scary blob that looks like a ghost. For some reason, he was shocked by that fact. It was like he couldn't believe what he was hearing.
なんで高島さんの携帯電話をかけたらこの部屋で
He called Takashima-san's phone? Then that ringing just now was Takashima-san's phone? He pulled open the desk drawer where the sound was coming from. And lying there was...
これって
that cell phone. It was the phone that Takuji-Nissan brought back to the house a few days ago. I remembered how he was touching it and mumbling something to himself. I remembered that it was creepy how the case was broken. That was Takashima-san's phone. But why would Takuji-Nissan have something like that?
高島さくらの携帯電話
He fearfully picked up the phone. He probably didn't know that Takuji-Nissan was the one that put it there. Does that mean this is the new Yuki-san?
嘘待って落ち着いてとりあえず
After looking at the phone, he collapsed back into his chair.
何やってるんだよこれって
When he sat down, he knocked some white powder off the table. What is that powder?
何やってるんだか
He opened the window and tried to dump the powder out the window. But then, the wind blew it all over the room.
何やってるんだか
あれ
I looked at the door posts that I was holding onto and saw fingerprints on it.
これって探偵ドラマとかで使ってる
It was some kind of powder that reveals fingerprints. I didn't know he had something like that.
なんだこれ
I heard a note of despair in his voice.
これって
The scattered powder showed all the fingerprints in the room. On the desk, on the drawer, on the closet. Nissan trembled at the sight of those fingerprints.
高島さんの席にあったやつと同じなんでなんで僕の部屋に彼女の携帯電話があってさらに彼女の机にあった指紋があるのなんで
It was the new Yuki-san, and she was under a terrible misunderstanding. Those were her own fingerprints. She thought those were someone else's fingerprints. They're probably the fingerprints of the culprit she was chasing after. In other words, they were Takuji-Nissan's fingerprints. She was probably terrified because she saw Takuji-Nissan's fingerprints all over the room. Of course, his fingerprints were all over the room. Because Yuki-san and Takuji-Nissan are the same person. They have the same fingerprints. It's not surprising at all that his fingerprints would be all over the room.
これって
When I saw Yuki-san trembling like that, I ran into the room without thinking. When she saw me, Yuki-san's expression froze. Oh shoot. I was just worried about Yuki-san.
ゆきさん落ち着いて違うの怖がる必要なんてないんだから
No good. She probably did recognize me, but she refused the information. When someone refuses to recognize something, that recognition always turns to fear. So right now, I must be terrifying to her.
ごめんゆきさん
That was a very good scream.
ゆきさん
What was I doing? I probably only confused Yuki-san even more. And in a situation like that, I'm really the worst. Anyway, I should clean this up. I wiped off all the powder on the surfaces in the room. Then,
葉崎ちゃん家に戻ってたんだ。
あ、はい。
Himura-san apologized when he saw my expression and figured out what had happened.
やはり教えない方が良かったみたいだね。違ったんだ。
はい。
そうか。ごめん、いらない情報だったね。この家を晴らしてる部下って言ってもバイトだけどさ。彼から連絡が来たんで急いで帰ってきたんだよ。
木村さんの方のお仕事は？
うん、だいたい終わったよ。さすがに警察までには手が回らないけど、筋関係の方々にはなんとか誤解が解けたみたい。
よかったですね。
あとその後僕の方でいろいろ調べさせてもらったよ。葉崎ちゃん7年前って言ってたから、7年前の新聞を全部調べた。全国紙から地方紙までそれこそ全部。そしたら沢井村って場所である事件を見つけたよ。関わっていた人間が全て未成年だったから名前が出てなかった。それも当時取材した人間を捕まえて名前を吐かせたよ。
Everyone was underage.
あの事件からこの悲劇は始まった。そうなんだろ？
はい。
もし間違っていたら言ってくれ。いや、言いたくないのなら言わなくてもいい。これは僕の独り言だ。
You know, I also start to think that, you know, like, all the stuff that was shown here, all the sex scenes and stuff, I know they're supposed to be representations of things that are considered taboo and stuff, right? We have incest here, we have bestiality, we have cult shit, we have, well, the thing with Kagami was basically rape, we have amputation, all that kind of stuff, right? I know the significance of it, but I'm starting to think that I don't know, the platform we're on, which is like, I'm uploading this to YouTube, and I kind of understand why they don't want porn here, because usually porn is just, you know, to actually satisfy your lust. People watch porn to fap or to be aroused. I understand that, but they're trying to do something different with porn here. But I'm starting to think that, why is porn kind of taboo in a way? When I was still in high school, I was in a Christian high school. There was a book when I was studying religion, right? In my school. It's that sex was considered to be something holy, which I definitely do not agree with, of course. But it's a misconception that a lot of people seem to think. I have my own reasons about why I don't like incest. It's not because, like, you know, when I was talking about Tomosane and Hasaki, it's not because I don't like sex itself. It's not that I don't want to see them have sex, or... Well, yeah, I don't want to see them have sex, but it's not because the act itself is wrong. It's because, to me, incest is very bad for you if you want to have a kid. I know the scientific, like, proof that it's not actually good to have an incestual relationship. But yeah, just want to point that out. Sorry about that. Going off on a tangent again. I'm talking a bit too much about stuff that's not relevant to the story.
ただ、その推理が正しいのであれば、僕は君が探している友実君を突き止めやすくなる。今の間宮拓司君は本当の間宮拓司君ではない。今間宮拓司と呼ばれている人物は戸籍上は間宮拓司ではない。
Okay. This is new information.
間宮拓司は戸籍上はすでに奇跡。
Interesting.
すでに実在しない人物。 戸籍上は現在生きている君の兄さんは一人だけ。間宮家の長男間宮友実。君が友兄さんと呼ぶ人物だ。これは正しい推理かい？
So is this Tomosane's body or Takuji's body? Is that the reason why Hasaki says that? Is that why Hasaki never cares about Takuji? I mean, it makes sense, but I definitely did not expect this turn of events. That the body didn't belong to Takuji. I mean, it was so hinted heavily that it was supposed to be Takuji since he's the creator.
はい。
間宮友実君は7年前に起きたある事故で間宮拓司君を殺してしまった。
I expected that. Well, I expected the other way around. Tomosane was killed by Takuji.
違う。そんなの、友兄さんは殺してなんていない。友兄さんは悪くない。だって友兄さんは。
分かってる。当時の事件の詳細は調べさせてもらったから。友実君は完全な被害者だ。彼は悪くない。
Well, that may be true. Whether you're the victim or not, murder is still murder and it will fuck up people's minds.
事件は完全な正当防衛。間宮拓司君に非があった。
Yeah, that's understandable for sure. But like I said, even if you're doing stuff for self-defense, killing someone will have some mental damages to you.
友実君はあくまでも刃物を持った拓司君から君を守るために揉み合って殺してしまった。
Why did he do that though? So that was not Tomosane that tried to have the knife. Okay.
完全な事故。誰も友実君を責める理由なんてない。警察だってそう判断した。でもそうは考えなかった人間もいた。一人は君のお母さん。そしてもう一人は。
So I guess that's why his mom was so. That's why his mom got crazy. It's because, you know, like Takuji was supposed to be the savior, but he was dead.
友実君自身だ。自分の弟間宮拓司を殺してしまった罪悪感から彼は自らの人格を否定してしまう。
I guess that makes sense.
拓司君を失って大きなショックを与えてしまった間宮琴美さんのためにあたかも拓司君が乗り移ったような人格になってしまった。医者の診断は心的外傷後ストレス障害における二次乖離、離人症や乖離性遁走の一種と考えられる人格誤認、体験している自己と観察している自我が乖離する症状。その乖離が死んだ間宮拓司という形をとったのは珍しい症状だったみたいだけど、まあ簡単に言えば自らを他の誰かと勘違いしてしまう病気、そう診断された。当時診断した医者にもあったよ。本来なら教えてもらえないらしいけど、今回の事件に友実君が関わっている可能性を示唆したらいろいろと教えてくれたよ。だけど担当医は大半のことは知らなかった。
So this is why it's a curse.
退院後3次乖離まで進んでたことを聞いて驚いてたよ。3次乖離、つまり乖離性同一性障害、いわゆる多重人格だ。これは退院後に発症したものらしい。聞いた話だと母親の一方的な判断で治療は中止されたらしいからね。だからなぜ水上由紀という人格、そして元々の人格であった友実君の人格が再度現れたのかは謎のままだ。
True. I wonder why it reappeared.
いや、担当医は言ってたよ。正直医学上はなぜ友実君は自らを間宮友実ではなく 結城友実と認識したかよくわからない。
Because he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Mamiya name, I suppose.
あくまでも症例としてそのような結果になったに過ぎないってね。退院後、君の母親間宮琴美さんは友実くんを拓司くんとして育てた。学校での書類などの名前が間宮拓司となっているのはそのためだ。戸籍まで当たれば当然不整合も出てくるけど、さすがに学校もそこまではしなかった。もちろん琴美さんによる一部私文書偽造もあっただろう。でなければ説明できないことが多い。それが意識的なのか、あるいは狂気ゆえのものかまではわからないけど、今回の事件は7年前の悲劇のねじれが生み出しているさらなる悲劇だ。
それは違います。7年前が全ての原因ではないんです。
Okay.
全ての原因は私が生まれてしまったこと。私がこの世に生まれた瞬間から始まってしまった悲劇なんです。
Is this why Tomosane started talking about that baby when he was talking with Ayana? I was so confused when he was talking about that baby. I didn't know anything about it. Like, to me, it was just the rambling of a crazy guy. But he said he wanted to kill that baby to actually save it.
それは違う。
いいえ、そうです。私のせいが、私の呪われたせいこそがみんなを不幸にした。拓司兄さんを殺し、その呪いを友兄さんにかぶせてしまった。そして全く関係ないユキさんまで巻き込んでしまった。すべては私が生まれたせいで起きてしまった悲劇なんです。
違う。それは違う。そんな言い方はダメだ。あの時君の命を救った女性、彼女がそんなの聞いたらどう思う？君を守った水上マスターの娘さん。
See, I really don't like it when people say stuff like this. To me, it appeals more to the emotional side of humans rather than the logic. She can't say anything anymore, but I understand why he would say this, you know. Like I said, I understand, but this is just my take on it. My take is that the dead really can't say what you want, or dead can't say what they want. You can try to guess what the dead want to say, but at the end of the day, it's just what you want to believe.
水上由紀さんがそんな悲しい言葉を聞いたらどう思う？
ユキさん。
水上由紀さんは白州教のマスター水上さんのご息女だ。水上マスターは自分の娘が命を懸けて守った子供たちだから君たちと我が子のように接してきた。無人として生きることを諦め君たちと共に生きることを選んだ。
はい。
この事件は君が生まれたのが原因なんかじゃない。葉咲ちゃんが悪いわけじゃない。ましてや友実くんが悪いわけでもない。
This guy is a kind guy, though. What a really nice guy. We haven't even known him for that long.
だから間宮拓司を止めなきゃいけない。僕たちは彼の怨霊を断ち切らなければならない。
木村さん、僕たちって木村さんは関係ないじゃないですか。大体木村さんにだってこんな迷惑かけて。
何言ってるんだよ。僕が好きで乗りかかった船だ。最後まで君たちと共に歩くよ。
木村さん。
なんてこと言っちゃうと僕の大人のミリキにメロメロになっちゃうかな
This guy.
バカですか、木村さん。私は友 も兄さんだけが好きなんです。
I say incest is wrong, right? But only in the context that having sex in an incestual relationship is wrong. Sasaki, you're free to love whoever you want. Everyone is free to love whoever they want. As long as it has nothing to do with me, like, you're free to do whatever you want. You might be mistaking, well, in my opinion, you might be mistaking familial love with, you know, romantic love. But that's just my take on it. If you think it's romantic love, then be my guess.
知ってるよ。僕は伊達にずっと素人童貞じゃないからね。僕は知ってる。僕が好きになる素晴らしい女性には必ず好きな男がいるってね。僕は振られるの慣れてるからさ。だからさ、思いっきり泣いていいんだぜ。俺の胸で。
木村さん、木村さん、本気で私のこと口説いてたんですか？
え？冗談だと思ったの？
You're going to jail, dude.
だって木村さんと私じゃいくらなんでも。
まあですよね。
Kimura-san patted me on the head.
冗談冗談。君がどれだけ友実兄さんのことを愛してるか知ってるよ。だいたい俺みたいなおじさんを好きになるわけないじゃん。
友兄さんがいなかったら考えたかもしれません。
え？
でも友兄さんがいるからダメです。
ですよね。
Kimura-san drove me back to Hakushukyo. On the way home, we passed over a hill I'd never gone over before. As I crested that hill, I saw the night sun. It was in the same neighborhood where I'd grown up, but I never even knew these huge sunflowers were here. The downy flowers sparkled white with dew. The moon was blue and the flowers were yellow. It looked as if the sun and moon each stood in the other's place. The ever-dazzling sun stood upon our earth, and the moon in the sky finally shone with its own brilliance. The yellow of the sunflower was dyed with the blue of the moonlight. It was a beautiful sight to behold, but the vigorously blooming sunflowers looked somehow frail. Sunflowers reaching out to the darkness of a night sky. My eyes chased after the sunflowers even as I sat inside the car. Like suns reflecting the light of the moon. Sun bathed in blue. My eyes followed them until they faded from view. I never told Master where I was going, so he was very stern with me. He was so mad at me that he made me cry. But when I saw how upset he was, I felt like I really understood what Kimura-san was trying to tell me before. Master, Yuki-san's father, he loves us like his children. The very same children who Yuki-san gave her life to protect. Kimura-san escorted me to the bar and then went back to the Mamiya house.
まだ調べなきゃいけないことが多いからさ。次、彼を見つけたときはちゃんと確認して連れてくるよ。それが君の友兄さんであるかどうかを確認して。
I still hope they skip the sex scene on this one. Please. Near midnight, the bar's heavy door opened. The bell on the door tinkled quietly. Even though the sign had read closed all day, Master tried to tell the customer that we weren't open today. Then he froze in place. A familiar face stood in the doorway. A face I'd seen just hours before. But something was a little different.
どうも、木村です。
ということは
Kimura took a bow as if he was introducing a royal guest. The person that Kimura-san had brought with him. There was only one person it could be. It was exactly who I was looking for. My jaw shook as I tried to say something. The words were stuck in my throat. I couldn't get the words to come out right. Just one word. It's just my brother's name. I gathered all my courage so that I could speak.
とも兄さん
The man in front of me gave a sly smile. Then he finally answered.
ああ、そうだ。友実だ。
Don't cry in my ear, please.
おい、葉崎
I jumped into his arms so fast that he fell back against the door. I couldn't restrain myself. I couldn't hold back. I just cried into his chest. It was Tomo Nissan right here with me. The Tomo Sane Nissan who I fell in love with. The person who was always there by my side. He tried to mask his embarrassment by laughing at me. His was a smile that neither Yuki-san nor Takuji Nissan could ever replicate. There was only one person in the world that could show me a smile like that. That's why I...
会えないって思ってたなんか拓司兄さんがどんどんすごいことになって
Even after knowing all this new information about Tomosane, I do feel like it's a lot more correct in that this is his body and that he deserved to have some sort of happiness. I don't know. I still feel like Takuji... I don't know, is it some kind of messiah complex that I feel when I feel like someone should punish Akasaka and also Satoko? Punish the one that were doing crazy stuff to Zakuro. It's probably some sort of messiah complex. See, the conflict here is that do you want to protect someone or would you rather do something to avenge someone who's dead? I don't know. There is no right choice, right? Because right and wrong are human concepts. There is actually no right choice. There is only the choice of which one do you prefer. It's definitely a very, conflicting story.
すごいことか。確かに。
とも兄さんは記憶がないから知らないと思うけど人が死んだり多くの人が行方不明になったり
The fact that I thought this was Takuji's body definitely played a role in why I thought that Takuji should stay in control and do whatever he wants. But now that they threw the ball that this is actually Tomosane's body and Takuji's dead, I don't know. It's just that once you... when you believe in something so much and then suddenly someone tells you a shocking information that what you believe is actually not right, kinda just makes you in disarray.
いや、微妙な記憶はたどれる。一応、あの男とは脳を共有しているからな。
あら、そんなことできた？
ここ最近で手にしました。訓練で。
それにしても、なんか少し大人っぽくなったわね。何か変わったわね。何かあったの？
あ、いや、これといって、強いて言えば、マミやタクジにボコボコにされて、その後、夢の中にさまよってました。
夢の中？
ああ、少しユキに会いまして。
ユキに？あ、そう。
Master looked very happy. Master never told Yuki-san's personality that he was actually her father. Neither did Yuki-san ever know that she had been Master's daughter when she was alive. People view Yuki-san as nothing more than a split personality, a side effect of a disease. As if she was nothing more than another one of Tomoni-san's delusions. But Master always believed. He always believed that the Yuki-san personality really was his daughter, and that her soul had gone into Tomoni-san's body so that she could save him. He told me that Yuki-san was still here on Earth because she needed to protect Tomoni-san and expel Takuji's curse from his body. It is definitely beautiful if you think about it that way. Dissociative identity disorder. It's easy to rationalize the phenomenon with a label, but the human heart has more intricacies than that diagnosis could ever convey. And the soul, too, holds its own secrets.
少しあの子の面影があるわね。
あの子？
ああ、いや、こっちの話よ、こっちの話。それより葉咲ちゃんに大事な話あるんじゃない？
はい。
急いでたじゃない。早くしてあげなさいよ。
はい。
Then, Nissan took a step away from me. He saw the disappointment on my face and held up one finger, as if to say that it would only be for a moment. Even a moment together with him was precious to me.
ん？
その前にマスター。
何？
表出てください。
表？何？二人っきりの話？
違います。俺と二人で外に出てください。
え？青かん？
違うわ。表出ろって言ってるんだ。
どうしたの？珍しい。
珍しいっていうよりも初めてですよ。師範代に表出ろなんて自殺行為です。
でも表出ろなんでしょ？
はい、お願いします。
いいわよ。
とも兄さん。
本当はお前に一言だけ伝えるために帰ってきただけだ。だけどその一言の前に確かめたいことがある。
とも兄さん。
俺は夢を見た。
夢？
そう言ってたわね。ユキに会ったって。
はい、ユキに会いました。そしてそこで俺は夢の扱い方を教わりました。
夢の扱いね。明晰夢ってやつ？
知ってるのですか？
うん。あれは武道の世界に通じる境地だからね。
そうなんですか。だったらなおさら表に出てください。
何よ、表出ろ出ろってさかっちゃって。
そういう言い方はキモいのでやめてください。
何？マスター？とも兄さん？
少し席外す。
そんな、せっかく久しぶりに会えたのに。
あ、大丈夫だ。すぐに戻る。
とも兄さん。
I tried to chase after him. Then Kimura-san stopped me.
木村さん。
落ち着いてよ。多分屋上だから。
屋
うん。武術の練習は主にこのビルの屋上でやるって言ってたから。
上？なんで武術の練習？
いや、練習のためじゃないよ。
何の話ですか？
友実くんは水上さんを超えようとしている。
マスターを？
うん、そうだ。
なんで？
その答えは友実くんから聞くべきだと思うよ。
崎。
どうしてもって言うからさ、止めきれなくて。
You didn't even try to stop her.
マスター、もうやめて。お兄さん、そんなボロボロになって。
うるさい。葉崎は黙ってろ。
あら、そんなこと言っていいの？
うるさいじゃないよ。うるさいじゃないよ。私がどんな思いで。
分かってる。
分かってないよ。分かってないからそんなこと言うんだ。トモ兄さんは。
違う。分かってないからじゃない。分かってるから言うんだ。
トモ兄さん。
俺はお前に一言伝えるためだけに帰ってきた。この一言だけ伝えればあとは問題ない。
だからそういうのが分かってないんだよ。一言なんかいらない。私はもっとたくさんの時間、できる限り長い時間トモ兄さんと話していたい。なのにトモ兄さんはいつでも自分で勝手に納得して、自分で勝手に決めて。
そうだ、葉崎の言う通りだ。俺はいつでも勝手に納得して勝手に決めていた。
なんで一言だけなんて言えるの？一言なんかじゃ足りない。私はまだたくさんトモ兄さんと話したい。もっといっぱい言葉を交わしたい。
葉崎、それがいくつなら満足なんだ。その言葉が一つじゃ足りないならいくつならお前は満足するんだ。
そんなの知らないよ。私はただもっとたくさん、もっとたくさんトモ兄さんと話したい。ただそれだけだよ。
俺もだ。俺も葉崎と話がしたい。一言なんかじゃない。いくらでも話をしたい。だから俺は今夜は一言だけをお前に伝えるためにお前に会いに来たんだ。
それと
俺は消えない。俺は間宮拓司に勝って、そしてこれからお前を守り続ける。
トモ兄さん。
葉崎を守るのはユキでもそしてマスターでもない。お前を守るのは俺だ。葉崎、俺は帰ってくる。必ず帰る。だから安心しろ。
トモ兄さん。
この鎌を倒して、そして俺は間宮拓司を倒す。
この鎌って、あんた師範代に大層な口の利き方ね。しかもそんなボロボロなくせに。
マスター、すみません。今のは口が過ぎました。でも俺はあんたを倒す。
足ガクガク震えてるのに。
武者震い。
あんたキャラ変わってるわよ。
俺いっぱいいっぱいなんでクール系とかやってるわけにもいかないんですよ。いっぱいならそれらしくしないと。
He was already beaten up. He got knocked around by Master before I came. He was covered in bruises and cuts. Anyone could see that there was a difference in absolute power here. The situation was desperate, and still he fought on.
師範代、道場主にはかなわなかったんですよね。うちの小さ。
そりゃあんなのに勝てるわけないわよ。戦国時代から続くこの古武術はほんの数百種類の基本技しかない。それの組み合わせが数万という数になる。でもあの人はそういう問題じゃなかった。動物的感というか、まああの道場は宗教的なもの。歴代が霊能力者のような力を持っていた。
そしてそのうち多分俺はそれを感じてるんだと思います。 整いました。これから俺の番です。
あんたの番？
夢を扱うこと、その意味。この現実の世界で師範代の目の前に立って認識しました。
共兄さん。
It felt like time stopped in that moment. Time stood still, not moving into the past or the future. Like something that simply exists. The next moment seemed to stretch into eternity. The two silhouettes sprang into motion.
少し手加減。
They really changed the music just for this short scene?
共兄さん、もうこんな傷だらけで。
すげえ勝ったんだ。
I still, agree with what I said about this scene on the last episode though, or on chapter 5's episode. I still agree with what I said there.
私の失敗も。
痛くない？
Please don't show me the sex scene.
痛くないと言えば嘘になる。
I went and got the medicine box. Why did he have to get beaten up right after he came back? He's just like he always was. Every time Tomo-Nisan comes back to me, it's just like this.
あざだらけだよ。
そりゃあの人と戦ったんだから当たり前だ。
Every time you come back, you look like this. I almost said that, but then I stopped. Tomo-Nisan had no memory of the distant past. He was convinced that he was actually Mamiya Takuji, and his personality was just created by Takuji-Nisan. So, Tomo-Nisan had thrown away all of his own memories. And all of our happy days in Sawaimura too.
なんでこんな無茶を。もう本当に共兄さんが。
だから言ってるだろ、お前を守るためだって。
でも
これから一緒にいるためだ。
これから一緒？
あ、そうだ。
共兄さん、どこにも行かないの？
あ、そうだ。どこにも行かない。だからいくらでも言葉を交わせる。
本当に？
あ、そうだ。
でも共兄さんはそうやって何度も嘘ついてきた。
そうかもな。
だから本当はガムテープでぐるぐる巻きにしてどこにも行けないようにしたい。
それも手かもな。
うん。でも共兄さんを信じる。私何度も裏切られてるけど私は共兄さんを信じる。
なんでだよ、こんなダメな兄を。
だって共兄さんは私のヒーローだから。
ヒーロ
そうだよ。ヒーローは救世主より強いんだよ。
ー？なんだよそれ、でたらめな理屈だな。
でもそうなんだもん。
ああ、そうだ。俺はあいつより強い。絶対に負けない。
My promise with Tomo-Nisan. Thank God they didn't show the sex scene. He broke the last promise, but I still believe. Because he's my brother, and he's my hero. So I'll believe in him. The wind made no sound. Until just now, I had heard the wind blowing. Why did the wind stop blowing?
店内なんで確か私屋上に。
友実くんが運んできたんだよ。
とも兄さんがそれでとも兄さんは木村
口止めされてるんだよね。
木村
はい、いや、これは男と男の約束だから、
男と男の約束。
You know, for someone who is like important to the story, according to the voice anyway, right? They still haven't told us who the fuck is Ayana. Like, holy shit. This is chapter 6. Who the fuck is Ayana? At least give us some hint. Is what I said about Ayana true? I don't want it to be true.
そう。戦うために旅立った男を引き止めるなんてできやしない。
戦うために。わかりました。ありがとうござい
ます。ちょっと、なんで走り出すの？
とも兄さんが戦うために行く場所なんて一つしかありません。
なんで？
拓司兄さんと戦うためならば北高以外にありません。
でも北高のどこにいるかまでは。
そんなの行ってみないとわかりません。とも兄さん。
And this is actually what fucked over Tomosane, I guess.
で、どこにいるの？
木村さんは聞いてないんですか？
どこに行くか聞いてないな。
なら口止めとかじゃなくて知らないだけじゃないですか。
いやー、そうなるかな。
あれ、人影。
どこ？
There on the moonlit rooftop, there was only one silhouette. There was only one person, but it looked like he was facing off against some adversary. A statue underneath the moon. A lone figure. Something at his chest glittered and gleamed. The hand held in front of his chest grasped the same knife from before. It was the same pose as the one from 7 years ago. The only difference was that a single figure stood in the darkness, not two. The knife's tip was aimed at his own heart. I saw his face in the shadows, and I instantly knew who it was. There's only one person in the world who could make that expression. A mixture of kindness and irritation.
ダメだよ。とも兄さん、そんなことしちゃ。
なんでついてきたんだ。
ごめんね。
木村、てめえ。鍵のかけ忘れか。鍵を閉めておけばつけられていたとしても入れなかったのにな。
ダメだよ。とも兄さん、私そんなの許さないんだから。
葉崎、
そんなことするためだったらぐるぐる巻きにして閉じ込めておけばよかった。
だからそれも一つの手だと言ったはずだ。
I do wonder though, what doesn't make sense to me is that Asaki should have known that this is actually Tomosane trying to fight with Takuji. And yet, she's making so much assumption that Tomosane is trying to kill himself. Isn't it weird? In that moment, when Tomo-Nisan was worrying about me, his expression changed for just a split second. For a split second, his expression changed into someone else's. I tried to scream, but it ended before I could get the scream out of my mouth. That thing ended. Like fibers cracking upon steel, then blood and flesh. The sound rang out, lonesome in the dark. The dirge of the end. It was a messenger telling me that this was the end. Cold iron flashed in the dark. Bright red blood danced across the blade. An endless jet-black sky hung over our heads. The moon tinted our lacquer sky with shades of blue. The steel flashed. The red blood flowed. Everything turned white. All I could see was white. Those words I never could say. Those words I never could hold back. All those words caught in my throat, and then my breath came out as a scream. Please don't scream. I could only scream. Tears ran down my face as I screamed for him.
最後の最後でしくじったな。
I definitely don't blame Hasaki for Tomosane's defeat. I definitely do not blame her. I actually, not gonna lie, I actually was kind of glad that Hasaki was here so that Takuji won in the end. As fucked up as that is.
予定超枠。なるほど。どうあってもお前にとって俺は用済みってことなのか。
Tomo Nissan whispered as if he was talking to himself. He must have been talking to Takuji Nissan. I couldn't tell what had happened to the two of them. All I knew was that Nissan had stabbed himself in the chest with a knife. As a result of that action, no one could be the victor. If his physical body died, it would mean the death of 3 souls. Why did it have to come to this? I crumpled and fell on the spot. My voice caught in my throat. The tears wouldn't stop. The trembling wouldn't stop.
朝きごめん。俺はどうやら約束守れなかったみたいだ。ここで終わりだ。何もしてやれなかったな。葉崎には。
It definitely had a lot more power that is seen when you know that Tomosane was actually the real body. Or, you know, the original personality. That he truly cared for Hisaki.
そんなことない。そんなこと。だからトモ兄さん。
こいつにやられるとはな。どうしようもない。どうしようもない。まあ、これも現実か。なら受け入れるだけか。こんなことなら最後の時間もっと他に使えばよかったかな。もっと相手してやればよかったな。ダメな兄だな。俺も全く変わらないな。さてとお別れだ。間宮拓司、おめでとう。お前の勝ちだ。そして俺の負けだ。
I ran over to Tomo Nissan. I put my arms around him and held him close.
トモ兄さん、行かないで。
バカ、俺に近づくな。危ないぞ。この肉体は間宮拓司のものに変わる。俺は消える。
トモ兄さんが消えるなんてありえないよ。だって
そうだな、消えたくないな。もっと葉崎と一緒にいたかった。
そうだよ。だからトモ兄さん、一緒に帰ろう。もううちに帰ろうよ。
そうだな、それが約束だったな。
そうだよ。
一緒にこれからずっと一緒にたくさん言葉を交わし、
もっとたくさんの言葉を交わすって約束 した。私まだまだ全然足りないよ。トモ兄さんと話すの。
話すの足りないか。話しよ
私ね、ゆうべね、大きなひまわり見たんだよ。
The flower I saw on the hill at night. I saw that son of the night on a road I never passed by. In a world ruled by the azure, sunflowers shone bright with yellow. I told him about the sunflowers. The sunflowers on the hill.
夏の夜空に大きなね、黄色いひまわりがすごく綺麗で大きくて。
う。ひまわり。
もう夏なんだね。すっかり夏なんだよ。
I knew that sun in the night because we had seen that same sun together before.
学校もそろそろ夏休みだし、私今年はトモ兄さんとどっか行けたらいいなって思って。
夏か。
ずっとどこにも行かなかったから、今年の夏はどっか行きたいって。今年の夏はトモ兄さんとまた仲良くなれたから。だから夏休み一緒にあの村に帰ろうよ。
あの村。
そうだよ、あの村だよ。兄さんと一緒に過ごした。
Tomo-ni-san gently laughed.
なんで忘れてたんだろう。そうか。一緒に過ごしたな。
夏休みまたあの村に行こうよ。
夏休みか。
トモ兄さん。
そうだな。夏休み。
木村さん、救急車を。
なんだ。
Nissan pushed me away and stood on his own 2 feet.
なんだこれ。
This guy.
兄さん、動かないで。
I tried to stop him, but he slapped away my hand.
兄さん。
あれが
His face was different from before. His voice was different. He looked precisely the same, and yet it was like he was a completely different person. As he stood up, there in the moonlight, he looked like a vengeful demon back from the grave.
葉崎ちゃん危ない。
兄さん。
ダメだ、あれは友実くんじゃない。君を殺そうとした男だ。
兄さん、兄さん。
Why did Takuji try to kill Hasaki anyway?
危険だ、ダメだ。君が一番知っているだろう。どれだけ間宮拓司が危険な人物であるか。今彼の下には百数十人もの信者がいる。
兄さん、兄さん、ダメ。戻ってきて。
危険だ。とりあえず君は戻るんだ。僕が警察と病院に連絡しておく。
でも僕はまだやらなければならないことばかりだ。さあ帰ろう。箱舟に。もう最後の日は近い。
He disappeared into the shadow of the building, holding his wound.
葉崎ちゃん。
I thought this was the part where Hasaki and Kagami was executed.
ごめんなさい。
Ah, there we go.
木村さんごめん。でも
I chased after my brother. I found a small door over where he disappeared. There was a steel ladder hanging there. The ladder led all the way down into the darkness underground. I was definitely scared, but still, I went. It was packed full of people down there. An incredible number of people. Just how many people could they cram into a place like this?
兄さん
I try to find my brother among the crowd of people. Just find him.
あれ
Someone saw me and then started to talk to me.
なんであなたがあ、そうか。そっちは私のことなんて知らないよね。
Kimika, the only sane person in chapter 3.
私が救世主様の身辺調査をしてて知ってるだけなんだから。兄さんとお知り合いですか？まあそうですかね。兄さんどこにいますか？兄さん大変なんです。
That woman stopped to think hard about something. She then laughed caustically. What's that mean?
そうだよね。あの人は私たちの救世主様だけど、あなたの兄さんでもあるんだもんね。計画に邪魔なものは消す。
Man, Kimika... Kimika would have to be crazy to be able to accept Mamiya Takuji as the only sole remaining personality, you know? She definitely knows about Tomo-san and also Yuki, but she doesn't mind.
っていう心構えだったけど、でもこれはさすがにどうにもならないかな。救世主様は奥の部屋にいるよ。あなたが降りてきたはしごのすぐ横の壁。ありがとうございます。まあどう転ぶかは神のみぞ知るかな。神のみぞ知る？君のお兄さんが私たちの救世主であることを取るか、あなたのお兄さんであることを取るか、それは神様に決めてもらった方がいいってこと。
That was his secret room. I came here with Kimura-san before. It was disguised to look like part of the wall. The only reason I saw it before was because the curtains were lifted.
兄さん、
すいません。僕は救世主なんだから。
兄さん。
あのやつにやられるわけがない。当たり前のことだ。当たり前。
Nissan. Takuji Nissan was mumbling something to himself. My voice didn't even reach him. Because Takuji Nissan hated me, because he thought I should just disappear. So he couldn't even see me. I understand. But,
もう許して。友兄さんを許してあげてください。もう消えてください。消えて。
なんだお前、若月姉妹。
違う。私はあなたが憎んだ葉崎、間宮葉崎だよ。
双子の姉妹か。
違う。双子なのはぬいぐるみと私なんかじゃない。双子だったのはあなたと私。
I was twins with her? Really?
拓司兄さんと私なの。このウサギのぬいぐるみなんかじゃない。双子なのは私と拓司兄さん。
He just looked at me. His eyes were full of hate. Just like they were back then.
なんだ二人とも。黒波動の発生源が二人してのこのことこの箱舟に乗り込んでくるとはな。
兄さん、なんで 拓司兄さんは友兄さんをそうやって。
Can you truly blame Takuji though? Like, as crazy as Takuji is, this is technically a personality that was created by Tomosane in place of his dead brother.
なるほど。勇気のあの行動、あの異常な強さ。そうか。お母さんが設定したハードルにしては高すぎると思ったんだよ。あいつ強すぎだろ。お前たちか。お前たち黒波動の発生源が奴に力を貸していたのか。白波動のリルルが僕を助けたように。なるほど。おとなしが言っていたのはそういうことか。なるほど。破壊者ね。なるほど。勇気はお前らによって作られた。救世主を破壊する黒波動の闇救世主。人類の救済を妨げる存在。それで全ての合点がいく。あれほどの強さ。これほど僕を追い詰めた理由も合点がいく。
Man, I miss you, Takuji.
だが残念ながら結果はこれだ。
Can't believe I missed you after I played through your story in chapter 3. It was so long back then. It felt so long.
闇の救世主は死んだ。闇の救世主は消滅し、そして真の救世主である僕が残った。この地上に僕の勝ちだ。そうだ、僕の勝ち。闇と光の戦い、白波動と黒波動の戦いは僕らの勝利だ。白波動の勝利、救世主の勝利。
なんで届かないの？なんで？もう気が済んだでしょ？拓司兄さん、もう
消えろ。
消えてお願い。
お前こそ消えろ。黒波動を止めろ。
拓司兄さん、なんで
黒波動を止めないのなら仕方がない。強制消去だ。人を呼べ。
はい、何ですか？
誰でもいい。男数人をここに呼べ。
A bunch of people came over. Everyone was glaring at me.
なんですか、救世主様。
お前らずっとセックスしてるんだろ。
ああ、いや、ずっとというわけじゃないんすけどね。
セックスが好きなんだろ。会員が好きなのであろ
あ、はい、大好きです。
う。この女を犯せ。
え、いいんですか？マジですか？やったー。
そっちじゃない。
え？こっちじゃないって一人しか。
Right. I guess they were having sex with a doll. This is so freaky.
そっちの女は自分の姉が犯され死んでいく姿を最後まで見せる。その女に手を出すな。
どういうことですか？自分の姉って。
そっちの長い耳をした女だ。その赤い目をした女だ。その全身が布でできた女だ。
え、それってマジかよ。ぬいぐるみのことじゃねえの？もしかして。
そうだ、その布でできた女は死ぬほど犯された後に殺す。最も残酷な殺し方で。
何を？
そっちの女を押さえつけろ。
はい、わかりました。
I hope we don't have to see this sex scene again in a different light.
これはトモ兄さんが作ってくれた人形。
So Tomo-Nisan or Tomosane did make that for her. I actually thought Takuji was the one that made that doll.
妹に。ああ、わかった。妹には手を出さないでいてやろう。本来ならお前たちにはどこかに消えてもらえばいいだけだからね。こうなってしまったのもお前がやたら反抗的で断ることに突っかかってきたからだ。司の方は許してやろう。お前の妹はお前が消えれば何もできないだろう。あいつはただお前の後ろをうろうろしているだけの存在だからな。
兄さん、トモ兄さん、聞こえないの？お願い、トモ兄さん。トモ兄さんが作ってくれた人形壊されちゃうよ。
黙れ。そいつを犯せ。
犯せってこれをですか？
大丈夫だ。妹の身を案じているから抵抗はないだろう。怖がることはない。
身を案じるってこのぬいぐるみがですか？
This is so crazy.
つうか、この子って救世主様の妹じゃなかったっけ？
だから犯しちゃいけないんだろう。
なんだお前ら、僕の命令が聞けないのか？
ああ、いや、やります。やらせてください。ほら、お前らもやるぞ、こいつを。
俺も？
救世主様の命令だ。おお、よーし、テンション上がってきたぞ。
暴れる前に気絶させておけ。
気絶？あ、はい。とりあえ
This
ず
is
殴っておきま
so
す。
fucking weird, dude.
よーし、命令だ。こいつをぶん殴るぞ。おお！
The men all moved in and started to beat up the doll that Tomo-Nisan made for me. The parts that Yuki-san fixed up for me got torn open again.
すげえ格好だな。
Wait, are we actually going to have the freaking CG for this? Are you kidding me?
儀式を円滑にするためだよ。お前は
Wait.
バカか。外すわけねえだろ。これから楽しい時間の始まりだ。
Are you serious? Do I actually have to mute these girls? Do I actually have to censor this? Are you serious? What are they talking to? They were kind of mumbling and talking to the doll. It looked like all of their eyes were in focus on any single point too. Could they hear some voice that I couldn't? I was too scared to say a thing. I was trembling with fear, and Nissan laughed with pleasure when he saw me trembling.
お前はそこで姉がどんどん怪我されていくのをただ見ているがいい。
Alright, Takuji, be quiet. Man, these guys consume too much drugs. I couldn't really hear what they were mumbling about as they hiked up the doll's skirt. Apparently, they were complaining that the doll wasn't wearing underwear. I don't really know why though. These guys are so stupid. They pulled open one of the tears on the doll's underside. They were breaking the doll. The doll was already pretty old. His words became even more difficult to understand. Well, thankfully they didn't show the dicks. These guys are so fucked. All the men were spouting pure nonsense, and then they suddenly start taking off their pants. I covered my eyes. This is so ridiculous when you see it from this perspective. Not that it wasn't ridiculous before too, like... Ugh. The men carried the doll over to a larger open space nearby. Okay, I think it's actually safe, but I definitely do not want their voice to be heard though. It's still... I still don't want to hear their voice. Yeah, Yasuko was gonna say something. I do remember that. That's why I muted the girl part.
ほら、一言言いなさいよ。
Okay, I didn't remember that Kimika said
目の
something.
前の女の子が若月姉妹の姉なんだからさ。そうだよ。ノリ悪いな。そんなんじゃ至れないよ。これからオナニーさせるんだってさ。はあ、ほら、救世主様のお薬。そんなんだから脳みそが至ってないんだよ。じゃんじゃん吸いなさい。
Kimika, I start to have a lot more appreciation towards you. My god. I actually miss you. I miss you and Takuji a lot. The entire crowd was looking at the rabbit doll. Everyone just stared at the unmoving doll. What did they see? There were a lot of people getting really worked up and excited. There were also a lot of other people that didn't understand what was happening. There were even some people that looked deathly afraid of the doll. I wonder what those people saw there.
やすこちゃん、真面目なんだにゃ。
How stupid. The doll's eyes are so scary. They violated my doll. My past self was defiled right before my eyes. The embodiment of a precious time in my life. When time stopped for one part of my soul. That is what they defiled. My very memories. My very self from a time past. It was defiled at the hands of strangers. I was violated. My memory was desecrated. My past self was ripped and torn to shreds.
どうだどんな感じだ
ひどいよ。なんでこんなこと。ひどすぎるよ。
鏡は完全に壊れたよ。
なんでこんなこと。私の大切な
大切なお前の姉は壊れたよ。完膚なきまでにね。
What?
兄さん。
Oh, right. She can't see it, but Kagami was actually talking right here. His eyes suddenly rolled back, and then his face started convulsing.
壊してやる。完全に壊す。お前を完全に壊す。舐めやがって。僕を舐めやがって。誰かハンマーを持て。誰かはしごだ。鉄塊を持て。貼り付けだ。貼り付けにしてやる。貼り付けだ。貼り付けだ。貼り付けだ。貼り付けだ。貼り付けだ。貼り付けだ。貼り付けだ。なんでうるさい。あの挑発されて黙ってられるか。 本当に食わしてやる。このウサギ野郎を。やめて。あのコンクリートの柱、あの柱に貼り付けろ。高く、ここよりはるかに高い場所に貼り付けろ。貼り付けるんだ、貼り付けるんだ、貼り付けるんだ、貼り付けるんだ。
The boisterous atmosphere in the room disappeared as people ceased to talk, one by one. One by one, they realized, and soon the entire arc was silent. There was no one with me. Sorry, there was no one with me. In that enormous underground space, I could only cry. It was all I could do. I just cried. There was a person there. Someone who called me Tsukasa. But I didn't want to meet anyone who would call me that.
鏡だよね。
違うよ。この子はそんな名前じゃないよ。
なんでこんなことに。
なんでなんてことないじゃない。兄さんがやったことでしょ。
ひどい。なんでこんなひどいこと。
Come on, Hasaki. If you view Tomosane as Tomosane and Yuki as Yuki, you should also at least view this new Yuki as her own self rather than the same as Takuji. You're being a bit too cold there.
兄さん。
I looked at my brother. His face was Tomo-Nisan's, but that wasn't Tomo-Nisan's soul in there. That person was not the person I most wanted to see.
そうなんだ。鏡。家に帰ろう。
Nisan carried the doll in his arms.
帰ろう。家に。
The two of us walked through the city streets at night. It was too late to catch a train. It would take us at least an hour to walk all the way home. The two of us just walked in silence. Then,
昔もこうやっておんぶして帰ったことあったよね。あの時はさ、頑張りすぎてランニングの時に肉離れを起こしちゃって。
それ
司から連絡来てすぐに行ったんだよ。そしたら鏡こう言ったよね。
違う。それ私だよ。坂の話だよ。ひまわりを二人で見つけた坂道。坂道を登って私がお父さんの魂を探しに行くって言って坂道の先まで行けばお父さんの魂を取り返すことができてお父さんが生き返るって。
取り返すってどんなんだい。あの時どこに行こうと思ったの。
そんなのわかんない。ただひまわりの先、ひまわりのお花畑を越えた先、いつもその先を越えられなくて、ひまわりの道、ひまわりが向く空に伸びる大きな坂道を越えれば多分お父さんの魂があるって。
大きな坂。
お父さんの田舎の大きな坂。
あれってそんなに大きかったかね。
多分今はそうでもないと思う。でもあの時は、子供の時はものすごく大きく感じた。これは世界の果ての壁なんだって思ってた。 この坂を登りきったらそれが世界の限界だと思ってた。でも違った。
Well, you were a kid.
その坂を登りきったらその先にも街があったんだよ。その先にも坂があって、その先にも永遠に街が続いてた。世界に果てはないんだって、その時気がついたの。
そういえばあそこで泣いてた。
うん。だってもうお父さんの魂は帰ってこないって分かったから。そしたら悲しくなって、もう戻ってこないものがあるって知ったから。そしたらとも兄さんが来てくれた。いつだってそうだった。とも兄さんは私が泣いてると来てくれた。私今も昔も泣いてばっかりだから、いつも何もできないから。強くなりたかった。強く。
だからって頑張りすぎなんだよ。
全然ダメだよ。私何も頑張れてない。
そんなことないよ。そんなに頑張ってるんだもん。
とも兄さん。
He couldn't see me. Some other person's soul was in his body. He couldn't see me. But no one except Tomo-ni-san could say the things he was saying. Even if he couldn't see me anymore, this person was still my brother after all.
とも兄さん。
I quietly hugged his back. Then he stopped walking.
鏡、家に着いたよ。
He suddenly stopped in front of a house I didn't recognize.
鏡、こんななっちゃったから。おばさんとおじさんすごく悲しむだろうけど、でも鏡は帰ってきたかったんだよね。鏡。
Right, this creepy scene in chapter 2. Oh, shit, I forgot I muted you. Sorry about that.
すみません。僕鏡を守れなかった。鏡をこんな姿にしてしまってごめんなさい。
あなた誰？その人形がどうかしたのかしら？
何これ？
あなた一体？
違うんです。さっきまでこれ鏡で、若月鏡さんで。
そういう名前なの？そのお人形さんは。
そうじゃなくて、だって若月鏡はこの家の子で。
もう夜も遅いからこんな場所でお話しするのも問題あると思うのね。
でも若月のおばさん。
うちは長谷川だから、若月って家ではないんだからね。これ以上いると警察呼ばなきゃいけないからね。
なんだこれ、何が起きてるんだ。僕、つかさ。
もういい加減にして。もう誰だかわからないけど、とも兄さんを返して。
The school bell rings even in the dead of night. The sound echoed in the darkness. I came back to Kita High without even thinking about it. The doll I held onto for so long was no longer with me. It was the first time in such a long time that I had to stand alone on my own 2 feet. With nothing to support me, all I had was...
とも兄さん。
I should have just died back then. All this happened because I didn't die all those years ago. It It was Takuji Nisan's hateful spirit that possessed Tomo Nisan. It was a curse. I still don't think it's a curse. Like, if the game truly wants the reader to believe it's a curse, I mean, that's okay. But I'm also entitled to my own opinion and my own interpretation about how it is. I don't think it's a curse. I do think it was just Tomosane blaming himself too much. I don't really believe in the supernatural that much. It made perfect sense. It wasn't a mental illness. It was a curse. A curse that he cast on all of us who survived that day. Maybe Takuji Nisan wasn't the only one cursing us. Maybe Yuki-san cursed us when she died as well. Now, you're going a bit too far there. The Yuki that I know, or at the very least, the Yuki in this story, was not someone who would curse anyone. That's why all this happened. Nisan stabbed himself in the chest. He destroyed the other half of myself. And now, he wanted to return so many more people back to the sky. The day when everyone must return to the sky. The day when he'll return their souls to the sky. And what Takuji Nisan did to me that day. His actions in killing Yuki-san. That's exactly what he was trying to do again. And this time, he wanted to take far more people with him.
兄さん。おはよう。
Ah, I was wondering when Ayana was gonna come. I knew there was gonna be Ayana at some point because she has been appearing in every chapter. I heard a voice from somewhere.
こっち。どこですか？場所じゃない。チューニング。チューニング？そう。間宮の家は古神道の家。心の周波数を合わせる技を持っている。そして、さなみの血もまた同じ。
は
だから、ゆっくりと周波数を合わせれば。ほら、あなたは誰？
That doesn't explain how she met Takashima Zakuro. Takashima Zakuro doesn't have any sort of tuning and stuff like that.
あやな。あなたは間宮葉咲さん。はい。
It would make sense if she was only appearing to the Mamiyas, right? But Takashima Zakuro doesn't have this sort of tuning thing. Who is this? I've never met her before. Is she a student at the school? She was wearing the uniform, but
あなたは誰ですか？だから、あやな。人じゃないんですか？人じゃないなら何？わからない。見に行くんでしょ？何をですか？対の空。対の空。そう。お母さんが予言した空ですか？そう。あなたのお母さんが恋焦がれた空。この世界の臨界点。魂が何度もやり直すための地点。
what are you talking about?
出口を見つけない限り何度でもやり直す。やり直す？少なくともそんな空今まで来たことありません。今まで？あなたの言う今はどこ？そんな話してません。さあ、この先を見るのでしょう。この先？そう、対の空の先。対の空の先？魂の回転の終わり。何ですか？それ。先の空。葉咲ちゃんは見ることができるのかしら。だから何ですかその先の空って。魂の回転、無限回廊、時間模型、天球儀の先、回転の影への先。我は門、
門にして鍵、善にして一、一にして善なるもの、原初の言葉の外的現れ、外なる知性。
あなたは
音無し綾菜。誰も形にしたことがなくとも、誰でも理解でき、誰でも知っている。世界に一度もなかった風景だとしても、それは驚くような景色ではない。ありふれた世界。
ありふれた世界。
そう、この世界の先にありふれた世界がある。
それは
素晴らしき日々。
素晴らしき日々。
そう、永遠の層の下に。
Huh? What does that even mean? I don't think she said anything that weird. Subspecies Eternitatis. What is that?
この空の先、それを見るの？
What I'm trying to say was she didn't speak any weird jargon like that in Japanese.
私、
I walked forward. I took one step forward. Alone.
誰もいない。
ここにはいない。だってここは空じゃないから。
I couldn't see her anymore. I could only hear her voice.
ここは空ではない。
最後の空には一本の道。この箱舟から続く一本の道。それはあなたが登れなかったあの坂道よりも長く天に伸びている。
Man, I really do not like Ayana.
あなた、一体。
私は音無し綾菜。それ以上でもそれ以下でもない。
あの鉄はしごですか？
The ladder stretched endlessly upward. It was like a mirage, seen by a traveler wandering silently through the desert of eternity.
風だ。
I heard the wind in the distance. In the distance, far, far ahead of me. From far up the ladder, I heard the sound of the wind. The sound of the wind, which was so far off, gradually grew louder and louder. The sound of the wind. Goodbye,
も
Kimika.
う時間だよ。どうやら葉崎はこの時間に永遠にとどまる気だね。
Wait, you call her Hasaki?
僕は先に行くよ。この回転の世界でまた新たなる肉体に宿る魂として。
Nissan's body floated up into the air. I silently flew after him. Oh, now I understand. This must be how Yuki-san felt. There was no logic involved. The only thing that mattered was that someone I loved was about to plunge into the sky. I tried to grab onto him. I tried to. Okay. Wait. So, this is there a new chapter after this? That can't be a good ending, right? Someone told me this would lead to a good ending. There's no way that was a good ending. And of course they play this creepy music as the credit scene. Jeez. I'm actually going to try to start a new game and see if it opens a new chapter or not, because there's no way this is like a good ending. Like, I mean, I wanted this ending, but you know, I thought there would be some sort of conclusion about what happens after. Not that cryptic shit at the end. Yeah, everything is just turning red, and I guess it's a symbol that, or it's like symbolism or representation that Hasaki probably chased after Takuji or Tomosane and also killed herself. Jeez. This story is just about everyone killing themselves, dude. Wakatsuki Kagami was Ogura Yui. Wow, that's actually a voice actor I know. That's a pretty popular voice actor. Wow, really? I never realized. I never actually paid attention to the credits. How is this a good ending? This better not be a good ending, my gosh. Okay, please let me start and maybe see if there's a new chapter that unlocked. Hopefully there is. Yes! Jabberwocky 2. Which dreamed it? Chapter 6 was really short. I actually was able to finish it in just two episodes. But I guess the choice you made in Jabberwocky would lead to a different chapter 6. And it would in turn lead to a different chapter 7. But alright. I guess that is the end of the episode, guys. I was overall not shocked about the revelation. I didn't expect it, but it's not like totally unexpected. You definitely would have guessed what transpired in the Mamiya family. So this will be the finale. Or at the very least, there's like one more chapter, but it's not translated. Well, this is at least one part of the finale, which I'll do in the next episode, of course. But right now, we're done. This is the end of the episode. Thank you all for watching. This story definitely had me thinking about a lot of stuff. But still, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I enjoyed it in my own twisted way, you know? I don't necessarily have to enjoy it the same way as everyone else. And despite my critique of the game, I do enjoy it, like I said. Well, enough about that though. This is supposed to be just an outro. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.